The first thing you notice in the redwoods isn't the silence. It's the way the sound disappears. Kyle noticed it about an hour into the hike, when laughter seemed to get swallowed mid-air. The towering trees blocked out most of the sky, leaving the ground in a dim, green twilight barely past noon. "Feels weird out here," Kyle muttered, adjusting his backpack, a sense of unease growing. Matt grinned. "That's the point. You wanted remote." He seemed confident, adventurous. Kyle didn't answer. He wanted remote, but not like this, where even the wind seemed to hesitate. They were deep in Northern California's Redwood Forest, miles past the last marked trail. No reception, no people. Just trees, ancient, impossibly massive, forming natural corridors of shadow. Perfect for filming, Matt had said. Their YouTube channel needed something bigger, something different. By late afternoon, they found a small clearing surrounded by thick trunks and ferns. A narrow creek ran along one side. "This is it," Matt said. "We camp here?" He looked satisfied with their discovery. Kyle hesitated, glancing around. The clearing felt wrong. Like it didn't belong. "You ever feel like you're being watched?" he asked, his voice low. Matt rolled his eyes. "Dude, it's a forest. Everything's watching you. Birds, squirrels, whatever." Kyle forced a laugh, but it didn't stick. They set up camp anyway, the unease lingering. Night came fast. 1 minute the forest was dim. The next, it was black. Their fire crackled, its light barely reaching the surrounding trees. Beyond that glow was total darkness, thick, suffocating, and endless. Kyle sat close to the fire, poking at it with a stick. "You hear that?" he asked Matt. Matt paused mid-sentence, looking up. "Hear what?" He strained to listen. Kyle listened. "Nothing. That's just it," he whispered. "There's nothing." Matt shrugged, trying to dismiss the feeling. "It's nighttime, no bugs, no owls. No wind." Kyle's voice was barely audible. Matt opened his mouth to respond, then froze. A sound broke through the stillness. A knock, deep, hollow wood against wood. It echoed through the forest, distant but powerful. They both stared into the darkness, fear creeping in. Another knock followed, closer this time. Matt grabbed the flashlight and shined it toward the trees. The beam cut through the dark, illuminating trunks and ferns, but nothing else. "Probably a branch falling," Matt said, though his voice had lost its confidence. Kyle shook his head slowly. That didn't sound like a branch. His gaze was fixed on the darkness. The third knock came from behind them. Both of them whipped around, startled. Nothing, just trees. Tall, endless trees, looming in the darkness. They didn't sleep much that night. Every hour or so, the knocking returned, always from a different direction. Sometimes far away. Sometimes so close it felt like it came from just beyond the firelight. At one point, Kyle thought he heard footsteps. Heavy ones, slow, deliberate, but whenever he strained to listen, the sound stopped. The forest held its breath. By morning, both of them looked exhausted, their faces pale and drawn. "Let's pack up," Kyle said immediately. "We got what we need." Matt hesitated. "We barely filmed anything." He looked reluctant. "I don't care." Kyle's voice was firm, overriding Matt's reluctance. Matt looked around the clearing, then nodded reluctantly. "Fine, we'll head back." They packed quickly, eager to leave, but when they tried to retrace their steps, something didn't line up. "This isn't right," Matt said, frowning at the GPS. His voice was strained. "What do you mean?" Kyle's stomach dropped, a cold dread washing over him. "We should have hit the creek again by now." Matt's voice was filled with panic. Kyle's stomach dropped. "Are we lost?" The question hung heavy in the air. Matt didn't answer. They kept walking, a desperate hope guiding them. Hours passed. The forest didn't change. Every direction looked the same. Towering trunks, thick undergrowth, dim green light filtering through the canopy. No landmarks, no trail. No sound except their own footsteps, echoing in the unnatural quiet. Then they found the footprints. Kyle spotted them first, frozen mid-step. "Matt," Kyle whispered, his voice barely a breath. Matt followed his gaze and went pale. The print was massive. At least twice the size of a human foot. Deeply pressed into the soft earth. There was another one a few feet ahead, and another. A trail. Bare? Matt said weakly, trying to rationalize the sight. Kyle shook his head. Bears don't walk like that. The footprints were wrong, too human, too deliberate. And they circled. Kyle's heart started pounding. They go around us. Matt turned slowly, scanning the trees, a growing dread in his eyes. Like it's been following us, Kyle finished, his voice barely a whisper. That's when the smell hit them, rotten, wet, like something left to decay in the heat. Matt gagged. What is that? His voice was choked with disgust and fear. Kyle covered his nose. Something's dead. A branch snapped nearby, shattering the silence. Both of them froze. It wasn't loud, but in the dead silence, it might as well have been a gunshot. Matt slowly turned his flashlight toward the sound. The beam flickered across the trees. Then stopped. At first, Kyle didn't understand what he was seeing. Two shapes, high up. Between the trees, eyes, large, reflective, unblinking, too far apart, too high off the ground. His breath caught in his throat. Matt, he whispered, his voice trembling. Matt's voice trembled. I see it. The eyes didn't move. They just watched. Then, slowly, they blinked, and the darkness shifted. Something stepped forward, just enough for the firelight from Kyle's memory to flicker, massive, covered in dark, matted fur. Shoulders wide as a doorframe. It didn't fully reveal itself, but it didn't need to. They could see enough. Kyle stumbled back. We need to go. His voice was a desperate plea. The thing tilted its head, a chillingly human gesture. Then it stepped back into the shadows and vanished. They ran. Branches whipped at their faces as they pushed through the undergrowth. Neither of them spoke. Neither of them stopped, driven by primal fear. Behind them, something moved. Heavy footsteps, fast, too fast. It wasn't crashing wildly through the forest. It was keeping pace, hurting them. Kyle realized it suddenly. It's pushing us, he gasped, breathlessly. Where? Matt shouted, his voice raw with panic. I don't know. Kyle screamed back. A loud crack echoed to their left. They veered right instinctively, fear guiding them. Another crack this time ahead. They skidded to a stop, trapped. The forest went silent again. Kyle's chest heaved as he looked around wildly. We're not getting out, he whispered, despair in his voice. Matt shook his head, panic rising. No, there has to be a way. A low sound rolled through the trees. Not a growl, not a roar, something deeper. A vocalization? That felt intentional, like a warning. Kyle turned slowly, dreading what he would see. About 30 yards away, it stood in full view, the Bigfoot, easily 8 feet tall. Its chest rose and fell slowly, like it wasn't even exerting effort. Its arms hung low, nearly reaching its knees. Its face was partially hidden in shadow, but the eyes were locked on them, intelligent, cold, aware. It took one step forward, the ground seeming to shift under its weight. Matt let out a strangled cry and bolted, crashing through the trees in a desperate escape. "Gwit." Kyle shouted, but Matt was already gone, swallowed by the trees. The creature didn't chase him. It kept its gaze on Kyle, a chilling focus, then, slowly, it stepped aside. Creating a path, an unnerving invitation, Kyle's mind raced. Was it letting him go, or was it telling him where to go? Another distant crack echoed in the direction Matt had run, followed by a scream, cut short. Kyle's blood turned to ice. The creature tilted its head slightly, as if listening. Then it looked back at Kyle and took another step toward him. Kyle didn't wait. He ran. He didn't stop running until he burst onto a dirt road hours later. Collapsing in the middle of it, gasping for air, utterly spent, a passing truck found him. He tried to explain, but the words came out broken, panicked, impossible. Search teams went out the next day. They found the campsite. They found the footprints. They found the camera Matt had dropped. But they never found Matt. Kyle never went back. But sometimes, late at night, he replays the footage they recovered. Most of it is normal trees, hiking, joking, until the last clip. The camera is pointed toward the forest. It's dark, silent, then a knock, close, and in the background, just for a second, 2 massive eyes reflect the light. Watching, waiting, like it knows, like it remembers. And like it's still out there. In the redwoods, listening.